So welcome back. So in today's session, we'll learn about functions in Python. So let's get started. So what is function? So a function, like in programming, a function is a reusable block of code that executes a certain functionality when it is called. So in Python, there can be two types of functions. It can be a standard library function or it can be a user-defined function. If you remember in our previous example, let's say we use dict here, right? So this is also a type of function. If you remember update here, so this is also a type of function. So basically, what is a function? A function is a block of code that will do a specific task at a time. So how do we define function in Python? So to define the function in Python, we need to write this keyword def and the name of the function. And this will be the body. So how do we define a function in Python? So in order to define a function in Python, we have to use this keyword def. It means define, and then we are giving the name of the function. Here we are saying function name, and it should be inside this parenthesis. So when we have this parenthesis, so it means that this is a function, and we have this colon. After that, we have this part called body. So here in the body, let's say print learn with Pratap. So I have defined a function, and what does this function does? This function just simply print learn with Pratap. But if I run this code, nothing is happening, right? Because we just defined a function. So now, as we have defined the function, now we have to call this function to make this function work. So how can we execute or call this function? So we just simply run the function like this. In line number 13, what I'm saying is I'm just calling this function. So how can we call the function? Write the function name, the name of the function, which is function name, and you need to call by a pair of parentheses. So now if I run this code, so you see, we have learned with Pratap in the console now. So how exactly this works? As we say, code in Python works serially, like sequentially. So it goes to line number 8, and in line number 9, it's a function. So it's defined this, it stores something, like it stored this function somewhere in the memory, and then it goes on, it goes on, it goes on, and in line number 13, it also says, oh, the function was being called. Okay, let me call the function. So now the block of code that was written inside this function, it will run. Let's take another example. Let's say we have a function called sum, which would basically add two numbers, and we'll say a equal to 10 and we'll say b equal to 11. And here what we do, print sum of two numbers is, then we can say a plus b. So if we run this code, still we just define the function. Okay, so what we say, we define a function called sum, and inside the function we say that a equal to 10, b equal to 11, and then we print sum of two numbers is a plus b. But when I run this code, nothing is happening, right? As I told you earlier, now we need to call the function. So if I say sum, if I save and run, you see sum of two numbers is 21. That means the functionality of this sum function is it will simply add two numbers. It will simply add a and b. This is a function. So this is how a Python function works. We have defined a function def greet, and then we have some code inside here, and we call this function from this line, from this tree. So what exactly happens is our code will go like this. It will go sequentially, and then it will go here. It will see greet. It will go inside this greet. It will run this code, and once the code is executed, it will go to the next line of this greet function. So as I've told you, there are two types of function in Python. One is a standard library function and one is a user-defined function. So these functions which are defined by user, these are called user-defined function. And the function which we were using earlier, like update or dictionary, so this print is one of a function. So print is also a type of function. So what is the functionality of this print? The functionality of this print is it's just go and print this to the console. So as we told, a function is a reusable block of code that executes a certain functionality when it is called. So here you can see we have this print function defined somewhere. So what's the functionality of this print? So it just prints something to the console. So here we are reusing this function, right? We are using this print function inside this function name, and we are also using this print function inside this sum. A function is a reusable block of code that executes a certain functionality when it is called. So we'll learn more about functions. Function can take parameters, arguments, and all. Function can return something. So we'll learn more about this in the upcoming sections. So this is it from this section. See you there.